world? It's Ramon from Body by Ramon. Welcome to my gym. The floor. Just like fitness, getting in shape, gotta start with your feet. Right here we start with the floor. So if you notice, there's a little bit of a difference in height up here. I have 1/2 inch thick rubber flooring on the rest of the gym going forward. Up here, we got 3/4 inch thick. The reason I did that is because this is where I do a lot of barbell lifts, deadlifts, and overhead presses and things like that. So when I dropped those weights, I wanted to make sure that those bumper plates I have landed on the thicker rubber flooring. This is not my space, I actually rent here. So I didn't want to worry about messing up the floor or cracking the concrete or anything crazy like that. So flooring, super important. These are actually horse stall mats. Cheaper way to go if you don't want to invest a bunch of money on expensive rubber floor. Just look on Facebook, Marketplace. Always a lot of horse stall mats in there, all right? Moving over to here, those of you that know me, you guys know I'm super OCD when it comes to organization, all right? Even by the color, I had to make sure I had 3 blacks, 3 grays to make sure it was even. All right, in here I just stored some smaller stuff. I've got some of my cones in here for some speed agility work. I've got some push-up bars in there. In here, I've got my Hypervolt. All right, one of the best things for some muscle recovery, even part of my warm-up, really good with blood flow. Just turn it on, it's got a little vibrating head on it. All you do is just apply it to the muscle you're trying to warm up. It just goes back and forth on there. So this is really great, really important that I have down here for my clients. And then in this bucket here, some more stretch tools, some yoga blocks, things like that. I like to keep those in here. Some stretch bands. Again, mobility and stretching, super important. I start every session with my clients doing some form of mobility, some form of stretching. Depending on what we're doing that day, will kind of depend on what of the tools I use in there. And then, like I said, OCD, tons and tons of cleaning supplies, guys, tons, all right? We just obviously came out of COVID. We're still dealing with it a little bit. Here in Texas, things are opened up. Here in my gym, it's opened up, but we're making sure to stay extra safe with the cleaning. Up top, I've got 3 different weights of slam balls, med balls, all right? I got 8, 12, and 16. There's a really cool store here in Dallas, Texas, Top Fitness. They've been providing me with a lot of the equipment I've gotten lately. These med balls anyway, rebranded, repurposed, and that's why I really like going to these guys. They're putting their own brand on some of these recycled materials, and the quality of them is still great, so it takes big pounding on the floors down here, doing overhead slams and things like that. Moving on this way, down towards the floor, we've got our Bosu ball. This is really good for a lot of stability training. You can flip that upside down. You can do some push-ups on it. You can stand on top, do some squats. It's a little bit unstable, all right, so it's gonna require a lot more core focus. Depending on what you're working on, you can work on your ankles and your feet as well. We've got battle ropes in here. Battle ropes, essential to any gym, whether it's a home gym or a commercial sized gym. Great way to get some conditioning in. Really hard on the shoulders, get your heart rate going. I love incorporating that on my upper body days especially. And then on the floor down here, I've also got this slide board. What I use that for, it's for a lot of lower body work. You just put on socks, or it comes with little booties that you can use, slide them over your feet, and it makes it really easy to do sliding reverse lunges and things like that. Kind of keeps the tension on the leg as opposed to a regular reverse lunge where you're just lifting the foot off the ground. Here you have some friction with that mat, so it kind of forces you to engage those quad muscles a little bit more if you're doing lunges and things like that. Moving this way down the wall, I've got all my bands in here, pull-up bands. These are really good for doing some more stretches. You can also use these as anchors to different devices. So different widths obviously are going to determine how strong that band is, kind of resistance you get. Really nice to be able to use, like I said, for warm-ups. If I'm doing upper body, sometimes I'll do some rear delt separations like this with the band, pull them apart. Nice part for your warm-up. Thicker bands right here. I will use for myself even, or like people who are just starting out trying to learn how to do pull-ups. Just loop these around the base of my rack over there, which I'll show you guys here in a minute, and makes it a little bit easier for you to be able to lift yourself up and do those pull-ups. And then I've got your traditional resistance band, which everybody's familiar with. It's got your carabiners on the end for the handles. So that way you can stand, do your bicep curls, you can do overhead presses, things like that. Up top, my favorite bands, a lot of my female clients' favorite bands as well. Put these on. These are booty bands, all right? These are really good lower body warm-ups, doing some lateral walks and things like that. Doing glute bridges with hip abductions, so really pressing your knees out against those bands, warming up the glutes, warming up your hamstrings. And then I've got my step-up boxes as well. So I started out with this big soft box. Initially got that because it was a 3-in-1 box, smaller space in here. I was trying to find something that would give me more options without using a lot of space. It served its purpose well, it served its time well. It doesn't necessarily get used for step-ups anymore because it is soft. So I like to use this now for doing hip thrusts and things like that for people to support their upper back without the pain of sharp corners. But I did just pick these up a few weeks ago. What these are, you've got a 12 and a 6-inch option on there. So now we have something solid surface you can do a box jumps on, lands on a solid surface. You can do your step-ups on them. You can take this 6-inch box off top. So again, I talked about saving space. With them being stackable the way they are, it's kind of nice. They stay in one profile, but 2 different options. And this is really nice also for reverse lunges, where you can really get some extra depth in that lunge because of that extra 6 inches. Now my knee can get lower than the box, whereas if I was doing it on the floor, I obviously have a bottom range where I can't go anymore. So this box gets used quite a bit for those purposes. Alright, I've got attachments for my Landmine, which again I'll show you once we get to that squat rack. Some really cool features on these. It goes right around your barbell to be able to do some back rows. Same thing with this one, and then these are for my tricep dips here. As we move down, we get into my treadmill. Now I'm gonna be honest, I train people. I will often tell people training with me is more of a do as I say, not as I do. You very rarely will catch me on a treadmill running. I'm not a running type. I will spend most of my time on a bike instead. But this ProForm treadmill, really great, guys. It goes up to a 10 grade incline, and it also goes up to a 10 speed. One thing I love about this is it does have fans. So right now we're in the middle of summer here in Texas. It's super, super hot. You can turn these fans on. It gives you a little bit of cool air in your face. After that, some more cardio equipment. I've got a water rower here. All right, so a little bit different than your traditional air rower. Concept 2 makes an awesome unit with that air rower. This water rower functions in the exact same way, except I like this a little bit better. It's quieter for 1. For 2, it gives you constant resistance because the water amount never changes as that little flutter in there continues to spin inside. So when you pull back, you get to the end of your row, you have the same tension at the end that you had at the beginning. Really cool unit, really peaceful. Some of my clients like to sit on it because of the whoosh is the sound that they say it makes. I guess it helps them relax. I actually acquired this from a client. We traded sessions for a piece of equipment, and it was a really good deal for me. Worked out great for her, and it's been a vital piece of the gym ever since. The center of everything in here is this board, all right? What we have is a giant board with a lot of workouts that get put up. Everybody's programming goes on here every day, depending on who's coming in. These workouts get erased, they get rewritten for new clients. There's always, like I said earlier, some part of warm-up and mobility in that. I'll take clients through that. We go through their workouts. Super important to have, just so my clients can look and they can see what to prepare for that day. Also helps give me an idea of what I'm taking them through for the day so I don't get lost. And it allows me to track their progress look back and see what we've already done earlier in the week so I know where we're going to go forward. Right below that, I've got all my kettlebells and my free weight dumbbells down here. Now I go all the way from 10 all the way up to 50-pound kettlebells. Now these were acquired early, well actually mid last summer. Nobody could get weights anywhere, and so for me to be able to get 10 through 50-pound kettlebells at that time was really kind of lucky. And so I topped out at 50. I have plans to get some more weights, but as of right now, for what I'm doing with my clients, 50 pounds is more than enough. For most people, 50 pounds is more than enough, but I do want to have some extra options, and so I plan on getting some more of those. Like I said, with these free weight dumbbells, just some extra options here. I've got some 5s, some 8s, some 10s, and some 20s down here. And then what I use mainly for my strength training is these power block dumbbells. And so super easy to use. You actually just pull this clip out, and each placement here is 10 additional pounds. So I've got 10 pounds here. If I want to go lighter, I actually just slide these out. These are 2.5 pounds each. And now I have a 5-pound dumbbell. I can put this back in to the stack. Say I want to go 65-pound chest press. Slide that back in, pick it up, and it's ready to go. So these power blocks really have been, again, a space saver. Like I said to you back then, everything in here was set up to really be functional, but also save space because it's not a large space. And so just being able to go from 5 all the way to 70 pounds and only take up that itty bitty tiny little space over there was super important for me. Super important to have enough weight for my clients as well. And the power blocks, they do a great job of allowing me to do both. One extra ball over there, got a 30-pound slam ball. So that functions a little bit differently than the med balls do. Those med balls give you a little bit of bounce back. You really want to do some tosses with those, some lighter tosses. Whereas this slam ball, you'll notice, once you drop it, it's dead weight. So you gotta go and it stops. So it really forces people to get down low, get underneath the ball to pick it up. And then when they go to slam it, they pick it up overhead, really rip it through, and it's just gonna stop once it hits the floor. All right. My new favorite piece of equipment, we go right here. I just picked this up from Inspire. It's one of their cable machines. I love the cable machine. Super easy to use. One hand, I can literally move this up and move the pulleys to whatever level I want to go to. It allows me to do bicep curls. I can do tricep extensions. When they're both up like I just had them, I can do cable crossovers. And on the weight stacks, it goes all the way from 10 to 160 pounds of weight per stack. So it really allows me to get a good amount of weight per each arm. And if you'll notice back behind, it came with some extra accessories as well. So I've got an easy curl bar and I've got a straight bar here. So I can actually take both pulleys, put them on one bar, and then it allows me to do some rows like that for my back. I can do double arm bicep curls and add the weight of both stacks together for one pull. It also has a nice pull-up bar on it. And then on the back side of this, it's got more accessories in here. It's got your ankle straps, you know, if you want to do some kickbacks. It's got a strap for your hips if you want to do some cable hip thrust. And then it's got this little attachment here, which is really good for like golfers, baseball players, to be able to practice their swing throughs. Center right here, very important. Got the phone playing Spotify for us when we're in here working out. Gotta have music. Soon to be upgraded to an iPad, but for right now, shout out to Christiana for hooking me up with the phone. And then we've got stability balls up top. I've got the larger ball here, small block on the center. Again, really good for being able to get on top, do some chest presses and things like that with a round surface. Requires a little bit more hamstring, hip, core control when you're doing those presses as opposed to doing them on a bench that is flat and more stable. Moving on over, we get to the large pieces of equipment now. So everything you see here except for the plates themselves are from PRX. That's P as in Paul, not to be confused with the TRX, which is T as in Tom, all right? So we've got the tree weight holders. I've got plates there from Hampton Fitness. And then the big unit itself is from PRX. Now, like I've said a couple times already, and I'll say it one more time, space was super, super important to me. This actually lifts and picks up, it goes against the wall, which allows me to have enough space to still be able to pull a car in here if it's hailing outside, or in the middle of winter when it gets a little bit colder, if I want to have the car inside. It allows me to have that space, but it still gives me a full squat rack, a full rack to be able to do bench press in. It's got your pull-up bar, it's got a kipping bar for your CrossFitters and things like that. That's another one of those things I haven't mastered the art of yet, being able to do any of those, but still working on my pull-up game. That's getting better. TRX, all right, super, super versatile for total body work. All right, it's got an anchor point up top, some high quality carabiners here, and it's as simple as really just using your own body weight to do these things. And so I can do some back rows just like this, or I can walk it back a little bit and I can turn this into a bicep curl just like that. If I want to take it to the floor, say I want to do some core or some leg work, I literally just have to push these little things right here. It goes down and now it's low enough to the floor where I can go and do some core work. So TRX, if you need one piece of equipment that you can kind of take with you everywhere, if you want to train clients outside, if you personally want to train outside or anything like that, you want to grab one of these TRX, you can literally do your whole body workout on just this one little piece of equipment right here. New bench from Titan Fitness, just picked that up as well. Great quality bench right there, flat bench. It's got a weight rating up to 1,000 pounds. Between my weight and what I bench, I won't be getting anywhere close to 1,000, but it's good to have that stability. It's got a nice wide padding on it as well, so gives you good support. And then on the floor, you'll notice this is also from PRX, a Landmine attachment. This is another piece of versatile equipment. A barbell actually just slides into that, and it works on a pivoting point. So as I go and I do lifts, this moves up and down, or I can go side to side if I'm doing some more lateral type movements and things like that. These here go in. Can't preach enough about safety, guys. So if I'm doing some bench presses and I'm by myself, I don't have a spotter here. On both sides, it comes with spotter arms. And what this is gonna do, if I get to the bottom of a bench, I fail out, I'm by myself, I don't wanna die, I put these in, this is gonna catch the bar for me. It's gonna allow me to roll on out. So like I said, PRX really came out with some awesome stuff. More than happy that I purchased this. A little bit pricey, but definitely worth the money. Right behind me, I've got my barbell, I've got an easy curl bar, and I've got my bumper plates. These here are made of rubber. Again, these are really meant to be used on this thicker side of the floor, so when I'm doing heavy lifts, anything overhead and I drop, we go rubber on rubber as opposed to weight on concrete. And Fringe Fitness did a nice job putting these together. These were actually purchased on Facebook Marketplace. So like I mentioned to you guys earlier, if you're looking for stuff, Facebook Marketplace is a great place to go. You can really get some good quality stuff on there. And the last piece in here, this beast, the Rogue Echo bike. Awesome piece of equipment. I love it. This is what I ride the majority of the time when I'm doing any of my conditioning work. It's joint friendly, so I don't have to worry about my knees or my ankles or low back. Just hop on and ride out. Now, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword on this Rogue bike. The faster you try to go, it has little fan blades in there, and so the faster you try to go, the more resistance is created as those fans catch the wind. And so if you're going for a certain distance or a certain number of calories, if you want to try and go get there quickly, you're going to have more resistance pushing against you. If you're trying to get there slowly because you think you can trick the bike, it's going to get harder and it's going to take you a lot longer to get there as well. So this is probably my favorite piece of conditioning equipment that I have in the gym for myself and for my clients. Probably one of the more expensive pieces of equipment I have as well, but again, definitely worth the money. Got to invest in your health, and for me, got to be willing to invest in my clients. So that's it, guys. That's the gym. That's all the equipment. I plan to link a lot of the stuff that I purchased down below, so if you're looking for some of the stuff, wondering where I got it, I'll put the links down below in the description. If you have any questions, leave a comment. And other than that, we'll see you on the next video.